I have a preference. We're going to take a real quick survey, okay? Here's the survey. Would you like to all gather around on the floor and listen to a story, or would you prefer for me to read it and you sit where you're at? If you want to sit on the floor close to me, stand up. So Pete, I love you. Thank you very much for wanting to sit close to me. He's the only one, which means you stay where you're at and we're going to read the story, okay?
Yeah, there's some.
You guys tell me, what kind of writing are you working on right now? Tell me what kind of writing you're working on. Yes, Nicholas. What kind of writing? Are you writing poems? No? Okay. What kind of writing? Are you writing informational text? What are you writing? Are you writing expository text? What is expository? Do you remember?
Yeah.
What is expository?
Stories.
Okay, an expository is not a story. It rhymes, but it's not. What kind of writing is a story, Carter? A narrative. Why do they call it a narrative? What word do you know that starts with narra that you have heard before? Narrator, okay? A narrator, a narrative. It's a story, all right? Do you have to be in the story for it to be a narrative? Talk to your table. Answer that question. Do you have to be in the story for it to be a narrative? What do you guys think?
No.
No, okay.
Computer stuff.
We think, yeah. Okay, we think no. What do you guys think?
No.
Yes. I mean, yes.
All right, I'm hearing lots of no's. I'm hearing some yeses as well. You do not have to be in the story in order to be able for it to be a narrative. For example, how many of you go home at the end of the day and tell your mom about something that happened at school that you didn't have anything to do with, but somebody else did? How many of you do that? Like every day?
She asked
me
what happened.
Every day. That's a narrative. Okay? That's a narrative. You're telling a story. Now, there's some certain things that have to be in a narrative in order for it to be a narrative. What could I be talking about? There are certain things that are in a narrative story or piece of writing that have to be there if it's a narrative. What do you think? I can't hear you. Characters? That's true. It does have to have characters, okay? But I'm thinking of something that has to happen every time we have a narrative. What do you think? Well, every story has a beginning, middle, and end, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Everything has a beginning, middle, and end, right? You could say you have a beginning, middle, and end. Here's your beginning, here's your middle, and there's your end. Okay? Right?
Yeah.
So, it's something specific to narrative. That would be like adjectives, but if I'm describing a snake to give you information, I'm still going to do that. What is it?
The narrator's thoughts and feelings.
Narrator's thoughts and feelings. Do I have to have a narrator for it to be a narrative?
Oh, yeah.
Do I? Do I have to have somebody tell? No, I don't. You're right. Man, this narrative stuff's confusing. What do you have to have in a narrative? Do you have to have a hook? I think a lot of writing has to have a hook. But what is specific to a narrative? Let me give you a hint. You ready? Anybody ever heard the term rising action? What was that thing called? There's parts of it, but the whole thing is called something, and every narrative must have it, or it's not a narrative. What? Just a second word. It's a plot. It's a plot, okay? In every plot, what's the first part? First part is not the problem, not necessarily. A beginning. You have to have a beginning. What do you have to have in a beginning in order for it to be a narrative. Somebody said character. What else do you have to have? What else do you have to have? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Setting. Okay? Beginning, you must have a character and you must have a setting. And then you have the rising action, which usually involves a problem. Something's going on. Something's going on. Something's going on. And then, bam, something happens. What's that called? What does it mean? Climax. And then after that happens, it's like, okay, what's that called, Carmen? Falling action. What's the ending called? What do you think of? Close. Very close. What do you think? Solution. A big word that we would use is resolution. If you have a problem, you must have a resolution of the problem, okay? Or a solution, either one. All right, beginning, rising action, climax, falling action, and then resolution. Do you know what the French word is for solution? I'm going to teach you some French today, and you're going to go home and you're going to say, Mom, do you know what solution in French is? It's called denouement. Say it like denouement. All right, denouement. All right, now you know French. You know what a fancy word is for the beginning of a story? Is called.
Intro.
That's good. It is an introduction. Yeah, that's good. But this is a bigger word. Probably you don't know. It's called exposition. Have you? Yeah. You're well versed in that. I got it. Not expedition. We're not going on an adventure. It's an exposition. Say it with me. Exposition. One more time. Exposition. No, okay, stop. If you said expedition, that's not what it is. Listen, watch me. Ready? Say X. Position. The position you're in. Exposition. 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 And exposition, what is the exposition? It is the beginning of the story, right? Beginning of the story. What do you have to have in the beginning of the story? You must meet a character, and you must have a setting. Then you have the rising action, which is something's happening, something's happening, something's happening, something's happening. And then, bam, something happens. That's called the climax. That is like, okay? All right. Then you have the falling action, what happens after, and then the solution. Okay? All right. So, how many of you are familiar with the nursery rhyme, Little Miss Muffet? Okay, you guys know it, right? Okay. So, as we move through today, I'm going to give you examples of a plot, and a plot must be found in every narrative. Why are we talking about something that you worked on in reading? Because reading and writing are connected. When you read, you're reading someone else's writing. When you write, someone else is going to be reading your writing. They're connected, okay? So if you're writing a narrative, do you have to know what's in every narrative story? Yeah, because you're writing one. If you don't know what's in it, really going to be tough. All right, stand up. We're going to do Little Miss Muffet. You ready? You have to play. You're going to say it with me. Okay. This is the easiest way that I know how to teach or to reinforce plot. The plot must be in what kind of writing or story?
Narrative.
What kind?
Narrative.
Beautiful. Okay. So, first of all, you have the exposition. Exposition, which means the beginning of the story. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Who is the character? Little Miss Muffet. Where is she? Sitting on her tuffet. We now have the setting. We now have the setting. We have a character and we have a setting. All right, Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her curds and whey. What's the next part? If you know it, raise your hand. What's the next part? Oh, close, very close. You got it. Along came a spider. Rising action. Do it with me. Rising action. Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet eating her curds and whey. Along came a spider. Rising action. Are we freaking out yet? Or is it like, along came a spider? Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. Along came a spider. And what did he do? Sat down beside her. Along came a spider. And sat down beside her. What is that? What is that called? Along came a spider and sat down beside her. The climax. And then falling action. And frightened Miss Muffet away. Falling action, resolution. What was the resolution of Little Miss Muffet? She did what? She ran away. She ran away. Was it, why is Along Came a Spider not the climax? Because there's spiders all over the place. There's spiders probably in the ceiling. I don't know. They're not going to freak me out unless one falls out. So along comes a spider. That's like, oh, something's going to happen. And then he sat down beside her. What? So then she obviously knows he's there, right? That's the climax. Falling action, frightened Miss Muffet away. She ran away. All right. So do it with me again. In the beginning, along came, oh, no, sorry. Little Miss Muffet sat on a tuffet, eating her curds and whey. Character setting. Along came a spider, sat down beside her, and frightened Miss Muffet away. Okay? What is that called that we just did? That is the plot. A plot must be in every narrative, reading, or writing. If you don't have those things in it, it's not a narrative. Period. Everybody have a seat. All right. So, you guys are working on narrative writing. I think you guys are working on, I'm not sure exactly what this story is from, but I know it's connected to social studies. Okay, and so what we're going to do first is we're going to check some components of your plots, okay? Because if you're writing a narrative, you have to have all the components of a plot, right? Yes? Yes? Wake up?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to get a Chromebook, and then I'm going to show you how to highlight in order to double check that you have the components you need.
So you're signing into your drive and you're accessing your imaginative story. So there,
Okay.
the prompt was simply, you are an explorer leaving the old world, headed to the new world, and you can have connections to our famous explorers, but it's completely imaginative as to what happens on your journey.
I'm going to put up Miss Bloodworth's just to show you, okay? All right.
Anybody else?
What was the word that we used about the beginning of the story? What was that fancy word?
Exposition.
Exposition. Very good. Exposition. Anybody know the fancy words for the character, the good character?
The protagonist.
What was it?
Protagonist.
Ah, protagonist. Who's the protagonist in Little Miss Muffet? Little Miss Muffet. Who's the antagonist?
The spider.
The spider. Very good. You guys got it. I pointed to you. You said it. Hi. Yes.
Little Miss Muffet probably had acrophobia.
Arachnophobia. Absolutely.
What?
I think I would if one sat next to me. I might
feed
freak
it.
out.
I'll
I might
say good spider.
destroy my tuffet.
I'll say good spider.
I'll pick up the spider and squat. What is a tuffet anyways?
I think a tuffet is like a piece of wood that has like maybe a little bit of moss on it that you're sitting on, like a stump. You know, like when you go sit outside and there's a tree that's been cut down, you sit like on your tuffet.
And what's curds and whey?
Ooh, curds and whey is an old-fashioned
Cereal.
set of words for oatmeal.
Cereal? Oh, for some reason I thought it was something.
Well, oatmeal's a type of hot cereal. right?
Okay, I thought it was some sort of nasty stuff.
No,
That I hate.
I don't like oatmeal.
it's like oatmeal with milk in it.
Yeah, I don't like
I think.
I don't
We
like
should look that up. I should probably Google that.
Okay.
All right, if you have your imaginative story up, raise both your hands. Both. Both your hands. Both hands. Okay, that's all right. It looks like some of you have it up. Go ahead and put your hands down. All right. I know we were talking a little bit about plot. That's all right, you're good.
They asked for when you get my kids and get my pictures taken, so I'm just gonna get your kids' pictures taken, okay? And then you can get my kids' pictures taken, but I'll bring you their stuff.
Do you should we stop and get mine up, or we probably can do, we probably can do another couple of things. Okay, all right, you guys. A lot of the time, we have objectives in the classroom that we're gonna be working on. That lets you know, gives you kind of a frame for what we're gonna do today. It isn't always everything you're gonna do, but it is something. So your objectives are up here, and the one that we're gonna focus on right now is talking about using something called ratiocination. Yeah, say it with me. Ratiocination. One more time. Ratiocination. Ratiocination is a process where we use clues in our writing to tell us what we need to do better. What's that term called again? Ratiocination. Brian, what was it? Not Gracio. Ratiocination. All right? And it's a process, and we're going to go through it in just a second. All right? How many of you have ever heard the term revision? Okay? Revision. How many of you have ever heard the term editing? Okay, we revise and edit all the time. All right? We revise and edit all the time. This is a way that we go back into something you've written to check and make sure that you're doing what you need to be doing, or that you've corrected things that need to be corrected. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay, so how many of you know how to highlight using your Chromebook? Highlight, not change the color of the text, but highlight. Let me show you that real quickly, all right? Okay, so the first thing we're going to be doing is we are going to be highlighting the exposition of our story. What's the exposition? The beginning. What does the beginning have to have?
Character and setting.
That's all you have to do. So for example, in Miss Bloodworth's excellent writing, she says, in the early 1400s, I was just a young whippersnapper thriving away in Spain as an amateur cartographer. Who's the character? I, who we know is Miss Bloodworth, okay? What's the setting? What's the setting? Spain. Setting is time and place. What's the time?
Spain, 1400s.
Spain, early 1400s. That is the exposition of my story. So I am going to highlight it. I'm going to come over here to the A and click highlight in whatever color I want to use. That is the exposition. Okay? And then I'm going to label it just so you know. You don't have to. Okay? Exposition. Setting. Character. Highlight yours. Highlight your exposition. Guess what? If you don't have a character or setting in the beginning, you don't have a beginning. You got to fix that. Okay. All right? Yes. Okay. Tell me where to start and where to stop.
Start here and
So you're looking for exposition and highlighting.
So you hit this area. I want to highlight the paper color.
Okay, looks like we need to. Like it won't move. So, show me some. Oh, there it goes. All the way down to there. Okay. Now you go to A. You hit that. Go to highlight. And then do beautiful. All right. If you have the exposition highlighted in your story, please stand up. Oh, look at that. All right. Who has a birthday in the month of October? Raise your hand. Oh, go Carter. Who has a birthday in the month of November? All right. October and November. Find a partner that is October or November with your Chromebook. With your Chromebook. Walk carefully. How many of you are December and January? Where's my December and January? Partner up. February, March. Where's my February? No, February, March?
I'm a March.
You're a March? You too. Partner up. Okay? April, May. April, May. Partner up. June, July.
Miss Carpenter, call the office. Miss Carpenter, call the office.
June, July, and August. Partner up with your Chromebook. Partner up. Right here.
All three of us will have to be partners.
All right. I haven't given directions, so hold on. I need you back to back with your partner. Back to back with your partner. Back to back with your partner.
So I just have to sit over here.
All right, back to back with your partner. Caleb, will you be my partner this time? Okay. All right. So back to back with your partner. The one of you that is shorter than the other. Wait, I haven't told you what to do yet. You don't even know. You are going to share your exposition with your partner. Partner, check to make sure that they have introduced a character and have their setting. And then the other person shares. Go. All right. Ready? Okay. Oh, you don't have to share that. I want you to talk to me. No, I want you to talk to me. Look at me. I want you to talk to me. Like verbally share it. Read it to them.
And then your partner gives you feedback. Do you have a character in the setting?
Okay. Who's character? Prince Venom, right?
That's easy.
All right, Prince Venom. Right, and what is the setting where you're at? Beautiful, great job. Nice. Okay, we haven't done it yet.
And so does he have a character? Does he have a setting? Then he has an exposition. Now read yours.
That's STA.
If that's what you're gonna do, you come back, you will not be young.
Thanks. All right.
Oh, you're learning to keep your own breath.
Okay, so hi, my name is Brian Morales and I'm in the Army. Right? And character, what are we missing? What has to be in an exposition?
Character.
Character and setting. What is the setting? Time and place. Either one of those. Okay? I know, I loved it. I'm so proud of you guys. You're tech savvy. So savvy. That's right. No, it's not what we want. All right.
That didn't even cross my mind.
Hit me with the exposition. What is it? No, read it.
Okay, so.
Okay, all right, so the beginning is Sir, it's not Sir Henry, that was the one that met you. What was your name again? Sir, Sir Carter, I like that. Sir Carter, and you were in, I know it's 1400s. Where? England, got it, thank you. Okay, Carter, I got that. Could I be, Madame Stassi? All right.
Ms. Claiborne,
Yes, ma'am.
they are ready for y'all down in the cafeteria for pictures.
Awesome.
Freeze. If you have a computer on the floor, you need to get it onto a table. You are going to stay signed in. We're going to line up quietly so we can go get our pictures taken and get right back. Ready? Go. Oh, the operative word was quietly.
What's that word? What are we doing? No, exposition is beginning. What was the word we're doing? Ratiocination. Don't forget the O. Ratiocination. Good. Nice. Here we go. Go get your pictures taken. I'll be here. See y'all later. I was, but I had to change schedules because I had a bunch of meetings.
Can we just go with you on your meetings?
I might, but I probably won't do it now. It'll probably be later. Okay? I'm gonna study my lesson.
Hey, wouldn't it be cool if you could take two computers in your hand?
Yeah. Yes, they just went down.